If anybody ever asks me, what have you done for your country? My answer will forever be, not enough. Don't clap, you're gonna mess up my timeline if you clap. I love this country, and on the heels of Memorial Day, if there's veterans in the room, is it just me? Am I the only one? Does it pain you a little bit more every Memorial Day? It stings to see people that are leading this country say thank you to our fallen while simultaneously dismantling our country. A couple years ago, I traveled around the South Denver area and I spoke to many churches because I felt called. There were 3 questions on my heart that I wanted to ask them in order to prepare them for what I saw coming. They were simply, what do you stand for? What's your hill to take? And do you care enough to do anything about it? What do you stand for? That's not such a simple question. If you don't have the answer to that if you don't have the answer to that, you need to figure it out before you leave this room tonight. You can't move forward if you don't understand that. Upon reflection and prayer, this is what I came up with for Jimmy Graham. I am pro-Jesus, pro-life, pro-Second Amendment. Thank you, and it's specifically in that order, and it's said specifically that way, and this is why. Pro-God is a little too vague nowadays. That could pretty much mean anything. So when I say pro-Jesus, make no mistake, I mean Jesus Christ. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ, that's what I'm pro, before anything else. And I'm pro-life, meaning that I believe that children, all people are made in the image of God, and they shouldn't be murdered and raped and ripped from their mother's womb. And pro-Second Amendment, because in my line of work, I see a lot of people that love guns, and they say, I'm pro-guns. I say, guns are cool, guns don't make you cool. I'm like, this is the right to defend my life is a God-given right. If it's given by the government can take it away. If it's given by God, nobody can take it away. And by the way, if you take my guns, I will still defend my children, my family, my community with any means necessary. But knowing that puts me back in the story. I've told my children this, as I said at Liberty University, it dawned on me at 30-something years old that there is an old covenant. There's an Old Testament, there's a New Covenant, a New Testament, there's a cross in the middle, and I'm living here. Like, we know the back of the book and we win, but as soon as I understood this, my life changed. I'm a role. The book of James is already taken, but there's a book of Jimmy, and it could be the best book written. That changed my life, literally. What's your hill to take? The second question, what is your hill to take? My hill to take is to shepherd. I'll say it a different way, to add value to other people. I didn't know that. I had to investigate that. I heard someone say it, and to shepherd, let me tell you what I mean by that. It means to protect, to train, to lead. If you say sheepdog, I'm fine with that, but that's not biblical. I went deeper than that, and I said my job, my calling is to protect and to train and to lead, to provide a better model. And people say, well, what if you're not being attacked? I'm like, you're always being attacked. There's 50 attacks a day. You're just visualizing the one where they're going to come and take your stuff or whatever. Meanwhile, your grandchildren are being slaughtered behind you. So I'd say we do need to rise up and be shepherds. Don't take Jimmy Graham's word for it. Go to the absolute truth, the truth with a capital T. Be shepherds of God's flock that is under your care, watching over them. Not because you must, but because you're willing, as God wants you to be. Not pursuing dishonest gain, but eager to serve. Not lording it over those entrusted to you, but being examples to the flock. And when the chief shepherd appears, you'll receive the crown of glory that will never fade away. That's 1 Peter 5, 2-4. That's a verse that changed my life and launched my vision. I rewrote this speech. They asked me to to come up and speak to you folks. And it was about leadership, and it was about, we the people, starts with me the person and all that. And then we had a tragedy recently happen. So I woke up at 4 a.m. and I rewrote the deck. I rewrote the slide deck with their permission. Thank you to the IT folks that worked with me. And I said, there's a message in me that only Jimmy Graham can give. I had everybody else's quotes but mine. So if you'll allow me, I want to provide, I've been on Bongino, I've been on Hannity, talking about real solutions. This month marks 10 years I've been doing this since I left, active duty, when I left military, then CIA, then launched this endeavor. It was 10 years ago. This is the 3 points that I've been giving recently. The people, bold architectural innovation, and the culture. Those are the 3 answers that we can absolutely work with. Just take this for free. Please, someone use it. I've got some ideas. If you beat me to it, I'll buy you a beer. It starts with the people. It must. So who are the people that we're training? We must make sure that we start with the right people, and they deserve the tools to be successful. We give this away. We give it to local law enforcement. We give it to schools, business, churches, civic groups. I say it this way. In an emergency, everyone has a responsibility. Everyone has a responsibility. I've heard people say, I didn't sign up for that. Nobody signed up for this. I've heard people say, I'm a teacher, it's not my job to protect kids. It's every adult's job to protect kids. I'm not saying that you have to pick up a gun. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's your job. Because when I leave my kids with you, they're alive, and I expect them to be alive to the best of your ability. But we have to understand what are the tools to be successful. We've all heard of Run, Hide, Fight. That started out of Texas. It was about 8-10 years ago, something like that, and it was a good start because it's easy to remember. Run, Hide, Fight went like this. Run. If you can't run, hide. If you can't run or hide, then fight. The problem is you post it on the wall, say run, hide, fight, not teach people how to run, where to hide or how to fight. And when they're scared, they can't perform. It's not a capability. We took another stab at it. The other thing is it's chronological. Emergencies don't happen in order. You need to have the tools to be successful. We took a stab at it and called it the Defend training modules. The first thing on there says the situation will dictate the order of these modules. I don't know the order because every situation is different. It is, I know you want to hear this, the responsibility is on you to protect yourself. It always has been. Don't buy the lie. Don't repeat the lie that someone else will come to take care of you. If you do, that's fantastic. Defend stands for defense, evacuate, fortify, emergency medical aid, notify others in your immediate area, and dial 911. Let's talk about defense. This has worked since the beginning of time. Self-defense, and also the armed professionals that are going to come and secure that school. That's all under defense. It's the most effective, and it says this. In the protective world, there's a policy, there's a principle. To get to them, you have to go through me. To get to them, you have to physically go through me, and that should be difficult, right? That works. That's almost all that works. Evacuate. Evacuate, go show them. If you had to leave your home, this isn't just for schools, for your home, if it was on fire, where would you go? Your business, your school, your civic group. You need to know this before the emergency. I've taken kids by the hundreds to another business on a day where it was sunny and beautiful, and now they know where to go. If you show them, they remember. If you tell them, they forget. They know because I took them there and introduced them to the business owner. That's evacuate. Fortify. There was a recent shooting here in Colorado. We've got a bad track record, obviously, with this, where the school's secured, police come by, they're doing the clearances, they bust out a window, reach around, open the door, and then they come in. That's not fortified. The fact that that window is there to be broken and to get in there doesn't say you're fortified. You can't say lockdown if you're not locked down. This must be difficult. So we can do better on this. Emergency medical aid means tourniquets, wound packing, chest seals. That's an hour class that anybody can do. Anybody can do this. Maybe your role isn't a physical go fight a guy role, but there's a little girl bleeding, and if you know what to do, you can save her life. And if you don't, you can't. Okay, so that is a responsibility. The other one's notify others in your immediate area. Well, you hear gunshots. Not necessarily. Some of these large campuses, there could be an active shooter situation due to some closed doors, some angles, some distance. You don't even know you're in danger. And now this threat is heading your way. Call it hot zones to warm zones to cold zones. Here they come and you don't even know it. So we must notify others in our immediate area so they can save themselves. And then dial 911. I hear this regularly. It's okay, we have a 3-minute response time. I run these scenarios all the time. And what I see is you tell them, use your phone, act like you're calling 911. When people are saving their lives and aiding children, guess what they don't do? They don't call 911. Which means your 3-minute response time didn't start for 10 minutes. That's 13 minutes. That's unacceptable. We can do better than this. This is everybody's responsibility, so if somebody says, it's not my job to call 911, then I would say, find a new job. I'm sorry that being a teacher changed. It has. No one signed up for this. This is just the reality, and I want to see my children again. And I tell people, too, don't talk to me as if I'm not a father. I have 4 children. I have skin in this game, and I will for a long time. By the way, even if I didn't, because I am a shepherd, I am a protector, I'll be doing this for the rest of my life. Mark my words. Architectural innovation. We need to talk about this. Remember when I said to get to them, you have to go through me? Again, this is for free. Just do what you will with it, but I must tell you this. I've been to STEM school the other day. I was in the neighborhood, drove by, and there's kids playing out in the parking lot. I understand the challenges of restructuring schools, but someone's building a school right now. The next time you see children playing in the grass in the parking lot, think of this model. For this model and for our nation's needs, I am not suggesting a new way. I'm begging you to return to an old way, a way of honor, a way of integrity, a way of accountability. This building says to get to them, you have to go through me. And I don't care to hear, I don't want it to look like a prison. I don't want it to look like it's covered in blood. I've worked in embassies all over the world. They're gorgeous. Will you appreciate the walls because they protect you so you can get back to the work of educating children? As an embassy overseas, you have a job to do, and you can do it because of those walls. So you trust them and you appreciate them. And by the way, they're very, very nice. So if we have a model, envision this just for a moment. Just close your eyes. Go on a walk with me. What if the building said to get to them, you got to go through me? What if kids could play in a city park atmosphere and just be kids and learn? And what if the building said there's only a couple entrances, and if those are attempted to be violated, now we can actually assume a posture and say, personally with my body to get to them, you have to go through me. I haven't seen a better option. I've been doing this for 10 years. We always push this forward, and we must talk in times like this. People say, are you trying to capitalize on a tragedy? I say, I never stop talking. 2 weeks after a shooting, the world stops listening. The families don't forget. Everyone affected doesn't forget. My company, Able Shepherd does not forget. This is what we do, and we're trying to help. So please, please, please listen. What if, one of my biggest fears is that I'm working in Centennial, Colorado, and something happens at my school, my kid's school in Lone Tree. That's 15 minutes at the best. I need to be there. I can't get there in the time. What if I was working in this building? It was connected to the school, and it was a private school. This model must be a private Christian school. Why private? Less red tape. Why Christian? Because I'm not interested in starting broken. So if now it's Jimmy Graham running down the hall. Now it's one of you protectors running down this hall. Because a light went off and your business paused, you go through a secure corridor and your phone rings. In your device, in your ear, your phone rings, and it's the person in this school running the command center telling you where the threats are. Why mess around on the first floor when you know the threat's on the second floor? And they're guiding you. Have you talked to real police officers on their way to an active shooter? The last thing they need is a floor plan. Hey, give me a book to read. How about a map? I need you talking to me because I am trying to go 130 miles an hour, not kill anybody, and I have to switch into a gear that most of us don't know. Most of you don't know. They're trying to think angles and protect themselves and not shoot innocent victims and all that. They got so much going on, please don't hand them a floor plan. We need to guide them, and we can do better at this. What about the culture? The third thing, the culture says that this is my job to protect my kids. And everybody said this. The world would be a safer place. It's my responsibility to protect these kids. You wouldn't prop the door open. Why? Because it's my job to do this. And then do you care enough to do anything about it? Don't answer that with words, because I'm going to know the answer next week, okay? Answer with how you leave this seminar. When you leave the summit, what are you going to do about it? We need leaders. What does that mean? John Maxwell said it best. I love this quote. It wrecked me. There's only one reason to become a leader, and that's to add value to other people. To add value to other people. If you're going to represent me, if you're going to be a representative, you're going to represent me, you've got to up your game, right? That means I need to be the best that I can possibly be, and then you've got to go represent that. There's 4 things needed to be a leader, he says. You must value people. And I thought that was kind of funny at first. Like, yeah, who doesn't? But then I remember absolutely saying this at some point in my walk. I said, somewhere along the way, I learned that I actually care about people. And I know that's weird, right? But I mean, I'm that guy that if you're in Colorado and you're in the ditch, I may have pulled you out of the ditch. I've come home wet many nights not planning. Did you know that to hook up a minivan to pull it out of the snow, you must lay on your back? You can't do that on your knees. You gotta lay on your back. Ask me how I know that, right? I care about people. You must make yourself more valuable. You can't give what you don't have. You must take breaks, you must invest in yourself, and then continue to give. It becomes a habit, it becomes a philosophy, and we the people must do this. You can't buy it, and you can't elect it. You must know what others value. This isn't just Jimmy's vision. Jimmy's vision is to protect people, to take care of one another, shepherd, to do all that, to add value to other people. But there's many missions leading to a vision. This is Andy Stanley. Many missions, they start, they stop, they're celebrated. They start, they stop, they're debrief. We learn it, we pivot, we go on. Don't try to do a lifelong mission. It will burn you out. Do many missions, be ready to pivot, and head towards your ultimate vision. And the fourth thing, and I love this, he says you must do things that God values. If you don't do things that God values, you could be the best leader in the world and lead people straight to hell. Everybody in here is a teacher and a leader. You don't have to like it. You're a teacher and you're a leader. You're teaching people right and wrong, and you're leading them to heaven or hell. They don't have to follow you. That's on that credentials of trust that you've built over years, but you are teaching and you are leading. Make no mistake. Support current leaders as you become one. Support current leaders as you become one. If you're thinking about it, if you're that leader, you feel that burning in your chest that's calling you to do more, take that book that came in your bag, find these leaders and support them. Do something. In the military, we call it don't stand by to stand by to stand by. Do something. Get into motion. Okay? I put a couple. Why did I put Dan Bongino? There's many people. Dan Bongino is the only person I know that's a professional protector with a global voice. He gets that, and that's a good place to start. What about Lila Rose? Like Seth, she's saving babies. What about RMGO? If you're local, they're fighting for your right to defend your life. What about Jack Hibbs? He's a pastor. He's on fire out of California, of all places. David Barton is a national treasure. Yes. He understands that the answer to our future lies in our history. We can't stop teaching history. Brave Church, I'm delighted to see my pastors here tomorrow. Jeff Strausentraub, Centennial Institute, you guys know them. Live Action, Lila Rose, the Family Research Council. All of these people were building the ark before the flood. They didn't just pop up in 2020. They've been doing this and they knew this was coming. Real Life and then the Daily Wire, obviously. These are leaders. Don't tell me it can't be done. I'm sick of hearing this, it can't be done. We do, you know what, don't tell me it can't be done, that's really annoying to the people that are doing it. Every single day, right? My community, I want these people up here to honor them. Somewhere along the way, we forgot that we need each other. Our motto is simply take care of one another. What they don't know, these guys and gals thank me all the time. Thank you for the program. Thank you for this. We raise money. We go up in the mountains. We give it to Save Babies. We go up and do stuff we would have done anyway. We just raise money and we move the needle toward good because that's our job. It's absolutely amazing, but what they don't fully understand when they say thank you, that I get more out of this than anybody. I was SEAL teams, I was GRS teams, and I tried to start a business as a Lone Ranger. And it was devastating, and we lost everything, or we thought we did. I thought the business failed. We celebrate 10 years today from Duty to Act LLC. It's the same business, I just had to go through some valleys. And I wouldn't trade it for the world, but we need each other, and we need to understand that. If anybody ever asks me, what have you done for your country? My answer will forever be, not enough. I've got more to give. I'm not asking for favors. Thank you. The hardest part about this talk, the only part I was worried about, is if I could compose myself after that flag went by. So I pulled that off, and then I scrambled at the end, so forgive me. You have a responsibility. I have a responsibility. If we're talking schools, churches, civic groups, I've had our local security director tell me, we've just got to hold out for 3 minutes. It's my duty to tell you this. That's a bad place to start, because a 3-minute response time by police. A healthy place to start is if the police don't come, we've still got a plan. And if they show up, it's better. Then deconflict and make sure you don't poke a bunch of holes in each other, and make sure that you understand it's your responsibility to protect your children. It's your responsibility to protect your schools, your churches. If it's your responsibility to educate your children. We pay our taxes so professionals aid us. We're on the same team as these heroes in blue. But we have to work together. But it is ultimately my responsibility, and we must understand that first. Please join us in saving this nation. I'm a parent. I don't have a choice. My kids need to see me doing this so they know how to do it. Because we made a damn mess, and it kills me that they have to clean it up. God bless each and every one of you. Take care of one another. Thank you.